Like a winter sunrise, the seasons have burned brightly for the Dallas Cowboys. For an unprecedented 8 straight years, Dallas reached the championship playoffs. But even for a team rich in victories and achievement, the football winds swirled in curious patterns, and so did Cowboy fortunes in 1974. Many thought their star would wane from age, but in point of fact, Dallas was young, not old. Every member of Tom Landry's roster was homegrown, not acquired by trade or taken from the waiver list. In 1974, the veterans stabilized Dallas until talent and potential sprouted into experience. 1974, a year of growth for the Dallas Cowboys. The season's first week brought Dallas to Atlanta. A tough opener turned into a rout as the Doomsday defense shut out the Falcons, and the seeds of the NFL's most explosive offense took root. The legs of Roger Staubach carried Dallas to 1 touchdown, while his right arm accounted for another. The 24-0 shutout was a sunny beginning to a stormy season.
Outside Atlanta Stadium, lush greens bathed the Falcon faithful in the twilight of summer. Inside, the heat was rising as the Cowboys and Falcons turned red. The two contending teams threw footballs and then fists at each other, but on this Sunday, Dallas proved the tougher team. Setback Calvin Hill, a defector to the World Football League, answered the question about whether he would save himself for the WFL as he showed his heels and then his hands to the Falcons. Roger Staubach, absent for the final 2 weeks of the preseason due to broken ribs, played with his old devil-may-care style and scrambled to Dallas's first touchdown. Although sacked 7 times by the Falcons' ferocious rush, Roger hung in there and passed Dallas to a 17-0 bulge with a 32-yard rainbow to Golden Richards. But the hero for Dallas this day was the Doomsday defense and a young quarterback crusher named Ed Too Tall Jones, number 72. Jones, the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, stands 6 feet 9 inches tall, weighs 265 pounds, and his style reminds one of Deacon Jones in his halcyon years. Too Tall sacked Atlanta quarterbacks 5 times as he sailed in like a torpedo to explode in the face of the Falcon attack. Wherever he went, Too Tall left bodies in his wake as the Doomsday defense completely stifled Atlanta and shut them out. By game's end, Dallas' dominance was complete as Bob Newhouse squirmed over for the Cowboys' final score. The 24-0 pasting proved the Dallas Cowboys were a very healthy corpse in the race for the NFC East.
The Doomsday defenders were hobgoblins on Monday Night Football as they chewed up the Eagles and bit deep into the passing pocket of Roman Gabriel. Doomsday held its second straight opponent without a touchdown, and Roger Staubach blanketed the field with screamers to Drew Pearson. But even though Dallas tramped up and down Veteran Stadium and Pearson caught 10 passes for 161 yards, the Cowboys mustered only one touchdown. Needing another score to cement victory, the Cowboys lost their chance when they fumbled. Joe Lavender's 96-yard touchdown spurred Philadelphia to a 13-10 win, and the Cowboys to a 4-game losing streak.
Dennison. And he's initiated immediately and nailed by Berge. And he picks up about 4 yards, gets inside the 30. Staubach, he'll run, get to the 10. He has the first down. He's inside the 25 at the 27. Berkman, he wants to play in the East. Second down and 9. Ball at the 23. No score. A little over 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Now here comes Walt Garrison, and Garrison finds a big hole, and he's down to the 15, just inside the 15, and hit there finally by Steve Zabel. By Marv Bateman. First and 10 from their own 35. Gabriel's looking for Carmichael. And he's going to go down by Bob Lilly. Bob Lilly, a 14-year veteran, an original Cowboy, the first player they ever picked in their draft. Staubach under a tremendous rush by Patton, gets it off, and it's complete out there to Drew Pearson. Comes in the ball at the 29. Flag flies. Staubach going deep, and he had Pearson out of the open, but I believe it's going to be called back because Pearson was in motion. Newhouse running away from his blockers and picking up yardage, getting very close to the first down, out to the 37-yard line. He will be short, however. Rogers' situation now at 3rd down and 3. Ball at the 31. Newhouse gets the call. He'll get the first down. And the little man, 5'10", 205 pounds, saw the opening, slithered through, stopped by Jerry Patton, but he gets the first down at the 41. Roland Richards in motion. Walt Garrison gets the call. Gets over the 40 and breaks the tackle. And he's out to the 48-yard line. Newhouse. And Newhouse finds a big hole. He moves down to the 46-yard line. Another Cowboy first down. A little over 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Staubach. Drew Pearson. He has it at the 25-yard line. Drew Pearson, and Outlaw, number 20, points to Lavender, number 30, and just to say he was your man. The ball just short of the 21. The screen to Richards. Watch out. And he drops the ball. Who's got the ball?
Dallas.
76, John Nyland. The 3-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's Doug Dennison. And the young rookie gets his first score. Touchdown, Dallas. 7, the Dallas Cowboys. Staubach going out to his tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. Complete out there for a gain of 7 out to the 42-yard line. Second down and 3. The ball at the 43 of the Dallas Cowboys. Staubach is going up again. This time he goes to Garrison. And Garrison has the first down. He's out to the 48-yard line. At the top of your screen, and he can fly still. Going out to Pearson, and Pearson has another first down. He also kills the clock, which now shows 1:33. Eagles 43-yard line. The Cowboys chipping away. They lead 7-0. Newhouse, and he pounds for 4 yards down to the 39-yard line, hit by Bill Berge. Captain Bill Berge as to what he thinks the Cowboys might come with. 2 timeouts remaining for Dallas. And Staubach going deep to his tight end Fugit. 7. Here goes the screen, and this is Newhouse. Good reaction by the Eagles defense, and Newhouse will be, I believe, short of a Cowboy first down. Gabriel going to Zimmerman, picked off. Charlie Waters picks it off. There's a firecracker, goes off in our booth. I hope it was. Charlie Waters intercepts for Dallas. Richards and Drew Pearson. Going for Pearson, complete. First down, right on target for Roger Staubach. On the 10-yard line, here comes Newhouse. Newhouse again, goodbye, but a flag flies. Fine football game thus far for the Eagles, and he'll get some relief. Cowboys come right back with the same play. They scored on, but was called back. This time they get about 3 yards out of it. They're inside the 5. They'll probably mark it at about the 3.5. This is Dennison, and Dennison pounds and fumbles. Oh, goodbye. Oh, look at this. A foot race to Staubach. He's going to go all the way on it. Can you believe that? Oh, Joe Lavender, 97 yards. Oh, Monday Night Football. It never failed, Frank Morgan. And it was Dempsey that made the stop. Otherwise, Morgan might have gone all the way, but they trail on the scoreboard. Golden Richards, very close to the first down, right in front of his own bench. Play fake by Staubach. Complete to Drew Pearson. Pearson has it at the 35, another Dallas first down. Newhouse getting a real fine block from Garrison. The lead back through, and Newhouse has another Dallas first down. What if we could get a look at that again? You'll see why Garrison is so valuable. Second down and 10. Ball at the 18. Here comes Newhouse, bouncing through and finally going down in the arms of Berge. Staubach trickles it off to Garrison. Very close to the first down. Will depend on where they mark it. Steve Zabel was right there. Victory. Tie it up now, Alex.
I agree with you.
Well, Landry will be glad to hear that. On first down. Staubach, picked off by Randy Logan. I don't believe it. Not a ball that should have been thrown.
If he did anything, he should eat the ball or just throw it way out of bounds on this one. He took a big chance. It's a big gamble here. The receiver wasn't even close to it, Howard.
This is a fumble that gave them a 97-yard touchdown. Bo James over the right side.
If you're for Dallas. That looks good.
It is good. Dempsey does it again. Tom Dempsey does it again. They're mobbing him. You know, he saved this game in more ways than one. He stopped Dennis Morgan after he kicked off the last time, and Morgan heading to the locker room. And you know that this man feels the loss of the game. Hates to lose any of them, but when you dominate as they did tonight, well, it hurts a little more. And Mike McCormick turned the Eagles around last year with a real fine finish, coming up with a 5-8-1 season. As a team, it's definitely going to be a contender, and they are for real.
Giant coach Bill Arnsparger ventured intrepidly to Dallas last week, prepared to face the wrath for the Cowboys' previous Monday night loss to the Eagles.
And at times, it looked like the sleeping Giants were in for a long afternoon as number 44, Robert Newhouse, pounded out yardage, and then Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson gobbled up deck of yards. But it wasn't until the final minute that the Cowboys crossed the goal line on a Staubach to Bob Hayes girder scraper, which narrowly avoided a shutout. Despite an occasional big break like the recovery of this Ron Johnson fumble, the Dallas offense was unable to convert anything into points. With pressure galore and time dripping away, Staubach went up on top, where 3 of his passes came down in Giant arms. This theft by number 24, Chuck Christ, killed one Dallas drive. Then on play action, Norm Snead salted away a big New York victory when he hit number 26, Joe Dawkins, to make the final New York 14, Dallas 6. And there was no joy in Irving, only gloom as people wondered, could this really be the year so long awaited by the rest of the NFC East? It was to be a game which at times looked very similar to last year's NFC Championship. The Cowboys' only touchdown in last year's game with the Vikings came on a long punt return by Golden Richards. The Cowboys' first touchdown last week came on a long pass reception by Golden Richards. Quarter, and despite 4 earlier interceptions, Roger Staubach kept scrambling and throwing until he got some positive results. Calvin Hill got the Cowboys close, and then Staubach hit Walt Garrison for the touchdown, which brought Dallas within 6 at 20-14. An 11-yard Viking punt again had Staubach at midfield. And this time, the key play was the 3rd down pass to league-leading receiver Drew Pearson, number 88. On 3rd down from the Minnesota 8, Calvin Hill went the rest of the way, and Dallas led by a point, 21-20. With 1 minute to go and faced with 3rd and 12, Tarkenton and Foreman again performed Minnesota magic. Chuck Foreman accounted for more than 200 yards of total offense, but none more important than this fumble recovery. Fran Tarkenton then hit John Gilliam for what appeared to be the winning touchdown, but Gilliam could only get 1 foot down in the end zone. With just 4 seconds left, Fred Cox kicked from 27 yards. The official behind the goalpost ruled that the ball passed over the upright and was therefore good. By the width of a football, Minnesota had won 4 straight, and Dallas had lost 3 straight for the first time in 10 years.
A shocking loss to the Giants was followed by a last-second defeat by Minnesota, and then a cruel final-minute triumph by Don Coryell's St. Louis Cardinals. With a 1-4 record, Dallas was in last place in the NFC East. A grim position for a team with such illustrious tradition. But in St. Louis, the pulse of a stunned team began to beat, and signs of revival were evident when the defense caught the Cardinals in its crunch. Doomsday battened down its helmets and hit, while the offense revived flagging spirits, put on its game face, and shrugged off the hurts. The murky despair that shrouded the early season cleared, and Dallas geared up for some game-breaking football. Roger Staubach was his old rambling, gambling, razzle-dazzle self as he darted in for one score and rammed another home to Gene Fugit. All the special team members did their share, but Dennis Morgan did more when he blazed 98 yards on a punt return. Finally, after 5 futile weeks, Dallas ready to resume the championship chase.
A safety, Cliff Harris, number 43. Morgan got 10 yards of running room before anyone challenged him, and with a flying start, he turned on the burners. Morgan's return was due in large part to the new rule. Under the old rules, Morgan probably would have let the ball bounce into the end zone, but with less coverage men bearing down on him, Morgan took a chance. The result, a sparkling 97-yard return as Dallas detonated a bomb of its own on the quick strike Cardinals and led 7-0. Burned by 2 bombs, Dallas fought back, beginning with the kickoff following the score. Charles Young nearly broke it, but he had brought the ball to the Dallas 45. Then a good play fake by Staubach, and his pass to Hill gained 24 yards more. From the St. Louis 24, Staubach sent Drew Pearson in motion right, dropped straight back, and hit tight end Gene Fugit for the tying score. Repeating the play reveals that Fugit was wide open. Pearson, the leading receiver in the league, went right, drawing the St. Louis secondary his way and setting up single coverage on Fugit, who apparently had no trouble beating his man. Dallas 14, St. Louis 14. First, he found Drew Pearson over the middle for an 18-yard gainer. Then, catching the Cardinal rush line with toes out, he sent Calvin Hill on a draw, blasting for 20 more yards. But the drive failed at the St. Louis 42 when Staubach's perfectly thrown bomb skidded off the hands of Golden Richards, and Dallas remained down by 14. Only a tight-lipped expression and momentarily bowed head revealed the anguish in the heart of Tom Landry, while across the way, strain was also written across the face of Coach Coryell, as his Cardinals were forced to give up the football without a first down. Another draw caught the Cardinals thinking that the Cowboys must play catch-up quick. Staubach, pulling out all stops, found open spaces good for a 13-yard gain to the St. Louis 40. Then Roger the Dodger put it up in traffic, and only a well-timed stick by Norm Thompson left Drew Pearson empty-handed. But on the very next play, Staubach came back with the same pattern, and this time Pearson made the grab good for 20 yards. Sticking close to earth, the Cowboys ground their way down to a 4th and short, and Landry directed them to go for it at the Cardinals' 11. He too was successful, although his choice was more necessity than gamble. And at the top of the 4th quarter, Walt Garrison powered over, making the score 28-21 with 13:56 remaining. Was back in control. Once again, a strong rush forced Staubach to sustain a drive by his own two-legged wisdom. But again, a promising long drive was aborted when another perfectly thrown bomb dropped harmlessly out of Drew Pearson's hands. And with each repeated reach falling painfully short of the Dallas grass, the mounting pressure was intensified in the face of Coach Coryell. Buck was once again on the firing line, finding Drew Pearson again over the middle, this time for 17 yards to the Cardinals' 33. Comeback screen to tight end Gene Fugit advanced the ball to the 26, and the Dallas bench grew uneasy with anticipation. On 2nd down, and needing 3 at the 26-yard line, Staubach retreated to pass. With excellent protection, he could find no one open, and feeling pressure, he headed to his left, where the Cardinals had been unable to contain all day. The gain was to the 17-yard line, and 2 plays later, pass interference called against Norm Thompson gave Dallas 1st and goal at the 1. With 3:39 remaining, Roger himself ran it in, and the score was tied at 28 all. Then, eschewing the squib kick tactics which had kept the Cardinals in advantageous field position most of the day, Efren Herrera put the foot to it. Terry Metcalf fielded the ball at the St. Louis 9, and 56 yards later he went down at the Dallas 34, perhaps proving the wisdom of the squib kick philosophy. Coach Coryell hung on for 2 minutes and 33 seconds as his team gouged out its first and only first down of the quarter before Jim Bakken was forced to put up a 31-yard field goal. It was good, and the matter-of-fact Bakken was congratulated by his joyful teammates, now leading 31-28.
In Week 6, Dallas stormed over the Eagles. The offensive line gouged giant seams in the Eagles' defense, and Cowboy runners powered through. The Cowboys buried Philadelphia 31-24.
When the Eagles and Cowboys stopped trading punches long enough to trade scores, they used vastly different approaches. 2 Dallas touchdowns in the first half were the direct result of ground power. Calvin Hill first scored from the 5, then the 17-yard line, and racked up over 100 yards rushing in the first half alone. The Eagles used Roman Gabriel and the Fire High Gang to score their 2 first-half touchdowns. First, Harold Carmichael scored from 14 yards out, the play ending in more good-natured jostling. Philadelphia's second score was also set up by the pass, this time with short tosses and the tough running of Po James. And as usual for this game, after the play, the action began again. James eventually dove in from the 1 and then set up a field goal with more gut running, as the Eagles led at the half 17-14. In round 2, the second half, Po James was brought back to earth with 2 super sticks on kickoff returns. First, Ken Hutcherson knocked James out of the game for a series, and the Eagles were unable to move. When the Cowboys took over, they moved to the game-tying field goal, and Efren Herrera hooked another one to Po James. This time, Billy Joe Dupree pureed Poe, but he and the Eagle offense recovered when Gabriel pumped once and then struck streaking Don Zimmerman on a 64-yard score and a 24-17 lead. When the Eagle defense held, it appeared Philadelphia had control of the game, but Marion Reeves had the ball poked free by number 30 Charles Young, and Dave Edwards recovered for the Cowboys, the first turnover claimed in 3 games by Dallas. From there, Roger Staubach used the old pump fake and hit Dupree for 34 yards to the Eagle 2. One play later, Hill scored his 3rd touchdown, tying the game at 24. And though the first 3 quarters had seen 48 points, the 4th saw just 1 touchdown. It belonged to Roger Staubach and won the game for Dallas 31-24, knocking the Eagles 2 games behind the Cardinals in the NFC East.
Then spilled into the lap of their old buddy, Craig Morton, who now wore the true blue colors of the Giants. The defense held its 3rd opponent in 7 weeks without a touchdown, and Dallas took the quick route to victory as 2 bombs laid waste to New York. The first was a perfect rainbow from Staubach to Drew Pearson. Pearson, a former college quarterback at Tulsa, showcased his old skills by rifling a strike dead in stride to Golden Riches. The 21-7 conquest of New York.
Amidst the autumnal splendor at the Yale Bowl, the Giants tried to sort out their quarterback dilemma. Should such male chauvinists break tradition and go with a girl, or maintain their image with a gorilla? By game time, it was not Fay Ray or King Kong, but former Dallas quarterback Craig Morton who would chart the Giants' football destiny. Given an inspirational boost by the presence of an old enemy turned true blue, the Giant defense savaged the Dallas Cowboys early. They blew down Cowboy runners, and twice the Giants snuffed out Roger Staubach within sniffing distance of 6 points. Trailing 7-0, Morton was inserted, and the slumbering Giants turned slivers of daylight into gaping holes. Although Morton produced no points, he unlimbered the siege gun that once was considered the mightiest in the game. However, for most of the day, Morton was a tasty morsel for his old mates. 3 times Craig was sacked, and 3 times body-to-body collisions resulted in Dallas interceptions. With the score 7-0 late in the second quarter, the Cowboys' game plan focused on number 88, Drew Pearson, the NFL's leading receiver. The offensive line rode the Giants past Staubach, who stepped up neatly in the pocket and launched a perfect shot to Drew Pearson. Leading 14-0, Dallas was going for more when Calvin Hill was assaulted by John Mendenhall and fumbled. "71 yards later, defensive end Roy Hilton had a touchdown, and New York's flagging hopes were suddenly shockingly revived. But Tom Landry turned to a trick play involving Pearson that St. Louis had used successfully against Dallas 2 weeks previous. Pearson, a converted college quarterback, took a Staubach lateral pass and forwarded it airmail special to Golden Richards. Richards' touchdown salted away a 21-7 Cowboy victory and made a shambles of Craig Morton's debut in a Giant uniform.
A revenge match against the first-place St. Louis Cardinals. Dallas dispatched the Cardinals 17-14, and then it...
For 7 weeks, Don Coryell and Jim Hart have kept the prow of the Cardinal victory ship straight on course to the Super Bowl. But it would take a mighty leap to scale the mountainous doomsday defense. Once again, St. Louis relied on the big play, and Hart's well-aimed lob to Jackie Smith gave St. Louis an early 7-0 lead. For most of 1974, Roger Staubach has disdained the ad-lib play, but it was his gambling, freewheeling style that led Dallas to a Super Bowl championship 3 years ago. Staubach moved the Cowboys into a 7-7 tie with some pinpoint passing, some clutch receiving, and a roughhouse run by Robert Newhouse. But what worried Dallas and Tom Landry was the Cardinals' ability to swoop down swiftly and score. That concern became a reality when Hart nailed Mel Gray at the flag. Trailing 14-7, the doomsday defense howled in on Hart. In the first wave came Pat Toomey. In the second, number 79, Harvey Martin. Prodded by the rolling thunder of doomsday, Dallas crashed into a 14-all tie on a smash by Calvin Hill. With the battle dead even, Staubach whistled a game winner to nifty Drew Pearson, the NFL's leading receiver. But Pearson's 52-yard explosion was aborted by a holding penalty, and St. Louis victory flag caught full wind. Undaunted, Dallas later drove to the Cardinal 3, and with 7 seconds left, rookie Efren Herrera kicked the Cowboys into victory and handed St. Louis their first loss of the season, 17-14.
It was the 49ers who became meat for the grinder. Dallas broke San Francisco in half like a twig and won its 4th in a row, 20-14.
At Texas Stadium, the Doomsday defense smothered the Big Red Wave and held the 49ers to a meager 64 yards rushing. On passing situations, number 72 Ed Too Tall Jones was too much for Norm Snead in the collapsible San Francisco pass pocket. On offense, Roger Staubach naturally directed his aim toward Drew Pearson, the lithe and limber receiver who leads the NFL in receptions. On the strength of a field goal and a brutal head-on smash by Calvin Hill, the Cowboys led early and easily 10-0. But nothing has come easy for Dallas in 1974, and their early momentum died after a few helmet-rattling licks by San Francisco. Mixing up his short passing game, Snead directed the 49ers to a touchdown with a play-action strike to tight end Ted Qualley. Rookie quarterback Tom Owen took over when Snead was injured, and he honed in on the splendid hands of Gene Washington. But Owen could not produce any points, and Dallas led 13-7 until some heroics by tackle Bob Hoskins, number 56. Another look at the play reveals that Hoskins looped behind end Cedric Hardman, number 86, and came in clean to cause and recover Staubach's fumble. From the Dallas 12, Owen lobbed one to Gene Washington at the end line, and San Francisco led for the first time, 14-13. With less than 15 minutes to play, the Doomsday defense made Owen pay for his touchdown pass. Spurred by his defense, Staubach began to drive Dallas goalward with a piecemeal passing attack. The big play was a screen to Walt Garrison that set Dallas up nicely at the 49ers 7. For the last 7 yards, Staubach turned to Calvin Hill, who had 153 yards on the day, and Calvin's second touchdown iced a hard-fought 20-14 Dallas victory.
In Washington, the victory binge was bent out of shape by the arch-rival Redskins. 30 minutes of flawless football gave Washington a lopsided 28-0 lead at the half. Down by 4 touchdowns, Dallas pride erupted, and the scrimmage line, once dominated by the Burgundy, lay awash in white jerseys. The most formidable Cowboy was young tackle Bill Gregory, number 77, who disrupted blocking patterns and bolted to the point of attack. The Redskin offense puffed and puffed and finally wheezed in the dirt of RFK Stadium. Chinks in the Redskin armor of invincibility became cracks, then gaping holes, as Dallas decided a straight line was the shortest distance between 6 points. With the score 28-7, it seemed as hopeless as Tennyson's Light Brigade. But like the 600, Dallas ignored the cannon's volley and thunder and charged half a league, half a league, half a league onward. Robert Newhouse's touchdown made the score 28-14. With time dying, Dallas would live by the pass. Starbuck sought out second-year tight end Billy Joe Dupree. Dupree's oak-tough body stood tall in the gut of the Washington zone, and his second touchdown cut the Redskin lead to 7 points. Trailing 28-21, Dallas moved within sight of sudden death. With it 4th and goal at the Redskin 7, Starbuck sent Drew Pearson to the post. But the ball and victory skidded off his shoulder pads.
Trailing 28-0, the Cowboys slowly began to mesh in the second half. The comeback was spurred by the roughhouse runs of Calvin Hill and the receiving of tight end Billy Joe Dupree. Dupree's touchdown made it 28-7, and the Cowboys dug down deep to pull out some wild and woolly play. A short smash by Robert Newhouse made the score 28-14, and the Redskins' momentum began to teeter. After a blocked punt, Roger Staubach cashed in for 6 with a second touchdown pass to fully extended Billy Joe Dupree. With less than 3 minutes to play, Dallas was in range of a tie at 28 when a 4th down Staubach pass slithered through the fingers of Drew Pearson. Dallas had come so far, so fast, but so in vain as they lost 28-21.
Happiness turned quickly into the Alamo for the Oiler faithful as Houston reverted to their early form, as Dallas, led by number 77 Bill Gregory, tried to stomp them into cannon fodder. There were too many Mexicans at the Alamo, and at times there appeared to be too many Cowboys for the Oiler offense to fend off. For most of Sunday, the Dallas offense was stagnant, and quarterback Roger Staubach stood in and really took his licks. Led by Ed Too Tall Jones, the Doomsday defense sacked Dan Pastorini 7 times for 75 yards in losses. In all, the aroused Cowboys held Houston to a puny 81 yards in total offense. The main antagonist was number 79, Harvey Martin, who dropped in on Dante on 4 occasions. The most heartening aspect for Dallas was the play of rookie running back Charlie Young, who more than filled the cleats of ailing Calvin Hill. The only touchdown of the day came on a disputed dive by rookie Doug Dennison that gave Dallas a 7-0 lead. A rare moment for Houston came when Lynn Dickey replaced the battered Pastorini and threw up a balloon that nestled into the hands of Billy Parks. But that tiny spark blew up in the Oilers' face when safety Cliff Harris denied Dickey down deep at the goal line. Total defensive domination won the Battle of Texas as Dallas eased past Houston 10-0.
Thanksgiving Day in Irving, Texas, where for the second time in 12 days, the Dallas Cowboys face the Washington Redskins with Cowboy playoff life on the line. With a win today, Washington can clinch at least a wild card spot for the playoffs, and if they do, Dallas's hopes for postseason continuation are gone. For followers of the Cowboys, a playoff round without the Dallas Cowboys is like a Thanksgiving without the turkey. For in the previous 8 seasons, Dallas has missed the playoffs exactly no times. And though their streak is in serious jeopardy this year, there is good reason. Most pro football fans are familiar with the Cowboys' proud past, with the Leroy Jordans, Mel Renfros, and Bob Lillies. And while these names still adorn the Cowboy roster, and most are still starters, Dallas is actually a team that is rebuilding. No less than 12 rookies also appear on the Cowboy lineup card, and in the twilight of the season, where weekly wars test a team's depth, Dallas has some of the youngest backup talent in the league. Though some are blue chippers like number 72, Ed Too Tall Jones, the NFL's #1 draft pick, this season may be Dallas head coach Tom Landry's finest year of coaching, for Landry has managed to manipulate his mixture of aging veterans and fuzzy-faced youths into playoff contention. One man Landry and several other coaches could not handle is number 47, Dwayne Thomas. After a spectacular rookie season as a Cowboy, Thomas became disenchanted in Big D, and in today's game will be making his first start against his former team. But offense is not George Allen's thing, and though he has several all-pro types, defense is what it's all about for Lonesome George. Allen's philosophy is for his offense just not to make any mistakes, figuring on his big play defense to make the plays that win football games, and they usually do. When the two teams met 12 days ago, Washington jumped to a 28-0 halftime lead. But by game's end, Dallas had clawed to within 7 points and had 4 cracks from the Washington 7-yard line. They could not punch it in. And indeed, that loss, more than any, is the one that put the Cowboys in such desperate straits. Today's game is do or die for Dallas. If they lose, they are out of it. And even if they win, it will take some long, odd circumstances to put them in the playoffs. But that's not about to draw less than a 120% effort from the desperate Dallas Cowboys as they face the Washington Redskins in the NFL Game of the Week. With their entire season at stake, the Dallas defense was the first Cowboy unit to prove that they were ready, holding the Redskins to -4 yards on their first possession, twice nailing their old buddy Dwayne Thomas. After Thomas lost 4 on a run, he heard and saw the footsteps coming and pulled up short on a swing pass, causing an incompletion. Billy Kilmer's pass had gone forward, and so no fumble was allowed. But the Redskins had been stopped cold by the Dallas defense, and the Cowboys' first offensive play gained 11 yards and a first down. But Dallas could go no farther, thanks to a fine play by Dyron Talbert, number 72, and then by what Talbert called the key to beating Dallas, forcing Roger Staubach to run, negating the Cowboys' air attack and possibly negating Staubach for the day. Staubach's third down scramble came up short of a first down, and Dallas was forced to punt, or were they? With everything on the line, the Cowboys pulled all the stops, and a surprise pass from punt formation gained 37 yards. On a repeat, we can see that Dallas punter Dwayne Carroll was aware of the Redskins' penchant for blocking punts, and so wasted little time before getting off his pass. Benny Barnes, a defensive back most of the time, was a receiver this time, and Dallas completed the first big play of the Cowboys' biggest game of the year. It was an uncharacteristic mistake for George Allen's usually well-prepared special teams, which had either scored or set up a score in each of the Redskins' 4 previous games. But if Washington's special team was out of character, the Redskin defense was never more in character. Dallas would snap the ball 12 times from inside the 20-yard line, but could not get a touchdown. With a third and pass situation, Staubach rolled right, but pressure from Bill Brundage caused him to throw too soon and off balance, and Pat Fisher intercepted. But on the play, the Redskins were called for interference, giving Dallas 4 more cracks. But just as the Cowboys had failed to score at game's end in their previous game with Washington, so they failed again. Given new life on the penalty, Dallas could not pierce the goal line stand defense of the Redskins. After a run went nowhere, Staubach tried 2 passes, but both failed, and so unable to get a touchdown. Despite a successful 4th down fake punt and 12 plays from inside the 20, Dallas settled for a field goal and an unsatisfying 3-0 lead. Kilmer isolated Dwayne Thomas on Dave Edwards and looped a pass that Thomas turned into the first touchdown of the day. It was a fine effort by the much-maligned Thomas, and his teammates obviously appreciated it. Washington now had a seemingly safe 13-point lead over sputtering Dallas. On the Cowboys' next series came the turning point of the game. Roger Staubach was having one of his poorest passing days in the NFL, and he couldn't find an open receiver and ran. Staubach gained a first down, but was knocked woozy, and this proved to be the turning point of the day, for into the fray came an untried and unknown rookie quarterback named Clint Longley. Overthrew Robert Newhouse in the left flat. But on his second try, he dropped back quickly, set up, and hit Walt Garrison for a first down. This innocent 10-yarder was only the beginning of better things for Clint Longley. 2 plays later, Longley pump faked once and then passed to a wide-open Billy Joe Dupree, and Dallas had his first touchdown of the day. Suddenly, things looked a bit brighter in Big D. Two minutes later, Longley was at it again, and his quick arm found Dupree once more, this time for 20 yards. The big tight end from Michigan State was having one of his best days in his 2-year pro career. The Dallas offense had come alive, sparked by a very unlikely catalyst. A down and out to Drew Pearson was good for 9 more yards. Then Longley, keeping the ball in the air, pitched a strike to Charlie Young, slanting over the middle for a 14-yard gain to the Redskin 15-yard line. George Allen's vaunted over-the-hill gang was being picked clean by a raw rookie. Longley now tried for Newhouse in the end zone, and though Pat Fisher saved the touchdown, linebacker Dave Robinson was called for interference, and the Cowboys had the ball on the Washington 1. With Calvin Hill out, Walt Garrison becomes the Cowboys' bread and butter man, and Garrison sliced through for the touchdown that tied the game. And sure enough, from the 19, former teammate Dwayne Thomas broke free for a Washington touchdown that put them back in command 23-17. Soon after Thomas's touchdown, Washington recovered a Dallas fumble and had an excellent chance to score. But this man, number 72, Ed Jones, the Cowboys' #1 draft pick, made one of the biggest individual plays of the game when he blocked Mark Mosley's 24-yard attempt for 3 points. Had Mosley been successful, the outcome of this game would certainly have been different. Dallas had a new life. The Doomsday defense was making its presence felt also, and with less than 2 minutes remaining, they stopped the Skins and forced them to punt. So with their 2 best offensive players on the bench, the Cowboys were 1 minute and 45 seconds away from missing the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. The game and Dallas's destiny was in the hands of Clint Longley. On first down, the rookie was caught for a loss on a great play by old-timer Ron McDowell. Luckily for Dallas, a face mask penalty wiped out the loss, but on 3rd and 7, Longley couldn't locate any free receivers and was forced to sprint out of the pocket toward the sidelines. Net gain, merely 1 yard, and it was now 4th and 6. A field goal wouldn't help. It now came down to this one play. 4th down, 6 yards to go. Obviously a passing situation. A rookie against the most experienced defense in all of football. Longley's pass was complete, caught by an old hand, Bob Hayes, and Dallas had their desperately needed first down. But the Cowboys were 50 yards away, 35 seconds left to play. 50 yards and 35 seconds away from extinction for the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas and their unheralded rookie had done the impossible, and an entire stadium of 63,243 went wild. There were still 28 seconds left, and as everyone knew, anything could happen. The number 75, Jethro Pugh, separated Kilmer from the ball, and number 79, Harvey Martin, recovered it, and the Redskins were dead. Though it had been the tried and true Doomsday defense that had officially ended it, the game belonged to a youngster playing in his very first game. Clint Longley, with his incredible passing performance, had captured the fancy of a packed stadium and a national television audience and had plunged his team right back in the thick of playoff possibilities. Certainly a long and bright future awaits a 22-year-old rookie quarterback, but no matter how long he plays the game of football and how well he plays it, it is unlikely he'll ever surpass the shining moment he knew in Dallas this Thanksgiving Day.
With so much accomplished, so much achieved, one day, one play sum up the Dallas Cowboys of 1974. Thanksgiving Day was more than a miracle or a victory. It was a sign of the future. It is said that all good things come to those who wait, and the waiting soon will be over for the Dallas Cowboys.
In Dallas, the Doomsday defense gave Mike Phipps a double dose of trouble. Roger Staubach burned the Browns early with a perfect strike to uncover Golden Richards. Just seconds later, Phipps threw blindly into the waiting arms of veteran safety Cornell Green. Once again, Staubach selected Richards, and Dallas was rewarded with its second touchdown in 90 seconds and a 14-0 lead. Facing a blowout, Phipps aired it out twice to fleet Steve Holden. Holden beat the coverage of Charlie Waters deep, and then he beat him for 6 with a picture-perfect catch at the end line. Cleveland rallied to within a field goal at 17-14 when Ken Brown scooted in on a picture book sweep. But Dallas lumbered down and blew out the Browns with ground power. The Lightning was supplied by rookie Charlie Young, and the Thunder by veteran Walt Garrison, who slashed in behind Billy Joe Dupree, number 89. Staubach found a similar 1-2 punch through the air. For the medium strike, there was the NFC's leading receiver, Drew Pearson. For the home run, there was his rapidly improving tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. Dupree's touchdown turned the game into a rout, as all the Doomsday defense had to do was sit back, play pass, and wait for the breaks. The break fell into the hands of D.D. Lewis, who set up the Cowboys nicely for 6 more. The 41-17 rout was complete when Walt Garrison pounded over behind number 64 Jim Arneson, as Dallison won a laugher over the Cleveland Browns.
Last week, the Raiders dusted off some of their big guns when the Cowboys came to town. But Roger Staubach's cannon roared first on a ricochet shot to Walt Garrison to Drew Pearson in the end zone. Then the Dallas defense boomed in on Oakland punter Ray Guy when he bobbled the snap in the end zone, and the Cowboys led 9-3. Staubach hit on a shot to Drew Pearson, whose great second effort ignited and inspired Dallas. Once again, the Dallas defense took its cue when, with his back to his own goal, Larry Lawrence uncorked a pass that popped to Leroy Jordan, and the old cowpoke ran it to the one from where Doug Dennison punched it in. Threatening again later, Staubach went to number 83, Golden Richards, whose acrobatic catch made it an easy 2-yard dive for Dennison to cut the Raider lead to 27-23. But that was the final, as the Dallas rally fell short just as their season had, and the Cowboys went home to watch the Raiders on TV.